Hey friends, before we get started, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe, like, and leave a comment. It would help the video out a lot, and it's an easy thing for you to do but means a lot to us. Thanks in advance. That night, I was in a train compartment, somewhere deep in the woods, far away from any towns or villages. The only other person with me was a quiet guy in glasses. About 25 years ago, around midnight, I was lying on the top bunk, playing a game on my phone. My roommate was rummaging through his stuff, probably looking for something, standing by his bottom bunk on the other side. "Damn Splinter," he muttered to himself, snapping the scissors. Just a couple of seconds later, the lights went out across the whole train. We started slowing down and soon came to a stop. "What the hell?" I asked, looking out the window. Outside was an impenetrable dark forest. From the back of the train, I could hear annoyed voices and some commotion. "I'll go check it out," I said. My neighbor stepped out into the hallway, and I lay there for a minute listening to the sounds before going back to my game. I thought we'd be on our way soon. A few minutes later, the guy came back, saying there were some technical issues but nothing serious. He assured me we'd be leaving soon. After that, he lay down on the bed, facing the wall. I was about to put my phone away and take a nap when suddenly, a 10-year-old boy burst into the compartment. "Help!" he yelled, crying. "Something's wrong with my mom." I asked him what happened as I climbed off the bed. I glanced at my neighbor, who was just lying there, not even bothering to turn around. What a jerk, I thought. There's no way he fell asleep that quick. He's just pretending to be out cold, avoiding anyone else's problems. The kid kept crying, clearly upset about his mom. "Let's go take a look," I said, trying to reassure him. "Don't worry, we'll figure this out together. Everything's going to be fine." We stepped into the hallway, and he pointed to the next compartment. I peeked inside. But it was dark. The only light came from the moon shining through the window. Inside, I saw a woman. An old lady was sitting still on the bed to the left, while another stood to the right. "Where's Vova? Where did he run off to?" "Don't worry, sweetheart, I'm here with you," the woman on the bed said without moving. "That's not my mom," the boy whispered behind me, crying. "What do you mean it's not your mom?" The old lady came over to us. "Come on, stop being a chicken." She took his hand and led him to her bed. It was clear the boy wasn't scared of her, but he whispered, "That's not my mom." "Oh, you're just making things up," she said, shaking her head. "Then who is it? Don't be afraid." I thought about how different parents could be. Some care deeply for their kids, while others don't. At least that old lady seemed worried about him, I thought, as I returned to my seat. Back in my compartment, I saw my neighbor standing by the window, looking out as though dealing with some technical issues. But whatever. "We'll be leaving soon," he said without turning around. I didn't respond, but a second later he repeated, "Technical issues, but nothing serious." "Yeah, I got it," I told him as I climbed into my bed. I heard him mutter, "They say it's just technical issues, exactly the same way. We'll be leaving soon." "Sounds like you have some technical issues yourself," I said, half joking. "Nothing serious," he replied. I just stared at him from my top bunk, wondering, what the hell? He kept staring out the window, not moving at all. I figured he wanted to mess around, so I pulled out my phone, but there was no signal, which wasn't surprising. Trying to distract myself, I kept playing my game, though my mind was already connecting the dots between the woman, the kid, and the power outage on the train. A few minutes later, my neighbor moved from the window, started rummaging through his stuff, then returned to the window and stared out again. What's up with him? I thought. I was beginning to feel uneasy. He repeated the same pattern, over and over, until I finally asked, "Hey, are you okay? How are you feeling?" "Damn hangnail," he replied, still digging through his things. I didn't understand what was going on, but tried to distract myself by playing on my phone. After a while, I heard a snip of scissors, which calmed me a bit. But then I started hearing the same sound, over and over at regular intervals. I mentally counted the seconds, about 17 between each sound. "What the hell are you doing?" I asked, unable to hold back. Damn hangnail, he mumbled. I turned on the flashlight on my phone, and the first thing I saw was a pool of blood on his bed, dripping from his left big toe. Drops were falling onto the mattress and the floor. In his hand, he was holding a pair of nail scissors, pushing them into a deep cut on his finger. "What the hell are you doing?" I whispered, horrified. "We'll be leaving soon," he replied monotonously. Carefully, I got off the bunk, trying not to make any noise. I slowly made my way to the exit of the compartment, but just as I was about to step out, the boy suddenly turned around and froze. "I'm going to go see what's up," he said, dropping the scissors with a clang. I fell to the floor stunned as he came toward me. I jumped onto the lower bunk, holding my hands up to protect myself. "Don't come any closer," I shouted, but the boy ignored me, headed out into the hallway, and disappeared. Suddenly, I heard a piercing scream from a child. My first thought was that psycho had attacked him. I rushed out, but I was wrong. My neighbor wasn't there. I saw the kid hiding behind me, crying. "We gotta get out of here," he said. I looked down and saw his mom holding a bloody knife, her face calm and expressionless. To the right, an old woman lay face down on the bed, unmoving. "What the hell is going on?" A big guy, around 30, rushed into the hallway from the shout. I stepped back to let him through as he entered the room. "What happened?" he asked, his eyes scanning the scene. "Get out of here," someone cried. A boy tugged on his hoodie, yelling, "Mom!" I took a step back. At that moment, a woman's hand suddenly jerked. The man tried to grab her but missed. He turned to us, collapsing to the floor with a bloody knife sticking out of his eye. "Don't be scared, kiddo," the woman said calmly. I quickly grabbed the boy and led him back to my compartment, locking the door. We sat in silence, listening for any sounds. "I'm scared," the boy whispered. "I want to go home. Just stay quiet," I replied. "We need to stay silent." Minutes passed, and then, deep within the train, we heard a rustling sound. "I'm scared," the boy repeated. I started toward the door. Suddenly, footsteps echoed down the corridor, coming fast, starting far away but quickly closing in on us. I froze, my hair standing on end. Then, there was a loud bang on the door, and another, and another. Instinctively, I raised my hands, and at that moment, a pair of nail scissors stabbed into my right hand. If I hadn't lifted my hands, it would have gone straight into my eye. I fell to the floor, bleeding, and tried to climb through the shattered window. Once outside, I ran into the woods. I stumbled over bumps and holes in the tall grass, but I kept getting up and running. After a while, exhausted and battered, I made it to the highway. Eventually, a car stopped. The driver, a man about 40, yelled, "Get in. Are you okay?" I whispered, "I need help," though he probably didn't hear. He helped me in, and as we drove, he asked, "Did anyone else survive besides you?" "I don't know," I said, feeling my mind slipping. "I'm tired of your questions. I just want some peace and quiet." "All right," he replied, driving in silence. "My eye is twitching," he said, glancing at me in the mirror. "It's just nerves," I said. "After everything, it's no surprise. It's just nerves."